Now that we've worked on our, our direct and drive, our yielding in the arena, and we've got our direct and drive working for us pretty nice, we can go ahead and move outside and get our horse prepared around some natural obstacles. I like to just use trees and gullies and water outside in getting our horse prepared to accept these surroundings and getting them prepared to direct and drive around it and through it and down it before we actually get on their back, in getting these horses to accept these natural surroundings with its water, trees, gullies, other God-given natural surroundings that we have, in getting them prepared. I've changed horses. I've got a young 2-year-old here. We've got her outside. She's actually been ridden quite a few times, but she hasn't really been outside doing a whole lot. And we're just going to work with her a little bit. She's going to be a little bit fresh, and just asking her to move her body around and soften it up. I'm going to get prepared around these trees. I'm going to show you how I utilize the trees to really help me to establish my groundwork. I'll drive her around this tree a little bit. I'll just change hands right here. You'll see me do this a lot. I use the tree as a hub. You see that she's been a little bit fresh. I change angles here a lot. So I'll use the tree here just as a guide. I'll let her kind of wrap herself around that tree, and then I'll change hands. See, I'll come around over here. Okay, she's wanting to play around. I let her wrap herself up around that tree right there. You can see that she's being a little bit silly right here. I'll just let that tree kind of catch this lead rope here. Let her run around here, do the same thing. Just let that tree, just as a hub of the wheel. She almost ran into that other tree. As I've said many times, I like for a horse to change direction, especially if they're going fast or they're going a little bit out of control. I want them to change directions a lot. So I'll use that tree to change that direction a lot. Keeping that hand up, just like so. Change it up, come right through. My body language and where I look, where I keep my hands is so important. You can see my direction hand it's staying up, and help guiding her and directing her. My pre-signal of driving her hip is really important. So you want to go behind that tree and hide there just a little bit. That's nice. So it's just it's a great obstacle here to use to control a horse's energy. You really change that direction. So I keep her energy up here. She wants to canter around, that's fine. But I keep it up until she wants to bring it down. When she starts to soften, that's when I'll quit on her. There we go. So that's a really good little exercise and a little drill right there to get control of those horses. One thing about it when you're doing this tree exercise is don't let your hand slide through. Don't let your hand be wrapped up here against the tree. Let it slide, let that lead rope slide through your hand and have the advantage to where you don't get your hand caught up in the tree. So we've got her here to where she wants to stand still. I didn't have to exert a lot of energy. She knows a little bit of direct and drive. She knows how to move those shoulders around, and I think that's really important. Watch my body language here as I get to working with her. I'll go around on the other side of this tree now, and I'll change it up. I'll let her go around on that tree. I'll bring her back through here as a figure 8, and I'll send her this way, and I'll let her go around this tree. And I'll change it up that way. I'll bring her back around here. I'll change it up. Send her on the other side. So now I can utilize the fork of these trees or these trees being right beside each other, you can see she's fairly fresh there. I'll yield her this way, then bring her front end the other way. Change it up, come around this side, come around that side. Change it up, around this side. That was a little bit of misdirection right there. I didn't have the lead rope short enough. There's a lot of imagination when it comes to working a horse outside. You see, just creating a lot of different drills that you can create right here and getting these horses to where they soften up and get controlled, where they move that rib cage, hind end and front end. There we go. That's nice. Good. Get her to step across there and get her eyes on me. So this gave her some work to do. It gave her a really good drill. It got her mind to where she started staying engaged with me. And we worked on her energy. We worked on softening up her body outside the arena. You know, I'd be doing exactly the same thing if I had a saddle on her. I'd go around these trees and I'd kind of wag and wheel it, and I'd go ahead and do some serpentines, some figure eights, go ahead and soften up her body just exactly like I did right here if I was on her back. But the beauty about doing a direct and drive, and the beauty about getting that horse soft and listening to your direction hand, is that you can simulate riding on the ground. On these babies, you can do it. If you do it right, you can simulate that riding. And when you get on their back, it's just another step. It's just an easy transition to go ahead and get this filly to accept the obstacles outside and the control and the softness that we're looking for. You know, as you walk around your place, whether you have a ranch or just a few acres in the backyard, or you go somewhere, you go to the National Forest or the BLM land or just a trail ride somewhere, you'll be amazed at the different obstacles, the natural obstacles that you can encounter to really help you with your horse. Whether you've got a young horse, a yearling, or a 2-year-old that you're trying to get exposed to getting outside and doing a little groundwork on it, you know. Just for instance, here's two little cedar trees that we have right here, and I'd like to be able to teach her to go through this cedar tree right here with the branches wrapped up, you know, be sliding up underneath her stomach and her flank and her legs and everything else. Just get her prepared for a trail ride that's in the future that's going to come one day. Imagination sometimes can really help you with training your horse and just imagine what you can do with your horse, finding different obstacles. Being very creative is going to be some of your best training tools that you'll ever have, creativity. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ask her to direct and drive into these trees, and she's going to have a little bit of a, there she goes. There she goes. She might be a little bit more interested in eating. So that was pretty good. Now this might be a little bit more difficult here. We'll see what we got. She got wrapped up around the tree there. At this stage I might walk through here because the lead rope's getting caught up in there. You might go on a trail ride and the horse feels like they're trapped and not, see, she kind of jumped up there a little bit. That was good for her. They feel like they're trapped with the branches and everything else getting up around their shoulders, and this can be a really a good exercise here, teaching these horses how to push through that vegetation. You can see I've been doing it from the left side. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change it up here I'm going to start directing her from the right side. There we go. I'll come on this other side. There we go. It's a good change. Nice. Okay, I want to go ahead and I'm going to teach her how to back. I'd like to teach her how to back through there. Now, this is probably going to be one of the most challenging exercises for the day for her to back through there. So, getting her straight right here, and direct and drive her up here, getting her straight, getting her body straight. She just feels like she needs to go somewhere. When I'm backing up a horse, I'm going to go ahead and get a loop in my hand. This is the only time I get a loop in my hand. I'm going to drive that shoulder backwards. She's a little crooked right there. She's got to feel that brush going up against her back, her hind end. There we go. There we go. There's a change right there. That was good. I want to do it from both sides. Just having fun with your horse and being creative. Using obstacles that are real life situations, you know, that you're going to encounter on a trail. When you go from the ground to the saddle, it all makes sense to them. It all ties in. So your groundwork has to very, very much tie to your riding. If it doesn't tie to your riding, then it's not going to make a whole lot of sense. There's going to be a big gap in between ground and riding. That's so important. Whatever you do on the ground has to tie in. The techniques and the methods have to tie into riding. Okay, the next part for me, the next step would be to direct and driving up and down inclines. Well, this is just a kind of a dry creek, a gully. A lot of the time when you go out on a ride or you're out, you know, on a young horse, they have a hard time maybe going down a steep incline or going down through a creek or a gully, and maybe they jump it or they run through it or they balk at it. They go down sideways, they don't go straight. And this is really a good exercise here, a good drill, just to teach them to how to get prepared in asking them to go down there. She's never been down something like this. This mare's pretty brave. I'll go ahead and I'll let that lead rope slide through my hand. You can see it sliding through my hand right here. Now I can control her. I don't want her to run up this other side. I'd like for her to come back up the same side I did, that I sent her down. You know, the last thing I want her to do is go up that steep incline right there and get caught up and fall down. And I had enough control on her through my direct and drive and my exercises out here in the trees that I was able to stop her and redirect her and turn her around at the bottom of this creek and then drive her back up. I'll try that again. Ask her to go. I don't want to pull on her head. I want to keep my direction hand. I had to swap hands really quickly there to get her to where she wouldn't go up that real steep bank. What I'm going to do here in just a little bit, I'm going to keep sending her down here, and then eventually I want her to stand down there in the bottom of that creek. That's the ultimate goal that I'm trying to achieve with her. Right there. Right there. Of course, it's a lot of grass out right now, and she's feeling pretty hungry or feeling like she needs to eat. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as she's not eating when I'm asking her to do something. go. Yeah, I don't want her to go up there. She might feel like she can do it, but at the same time, it's a little bit too steep for her and she's gonna get scared. This time I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna direct her, and I might just walk down here with her. Just kind of direct her from down here. You can see that I can still control her right here. Change. Go down the side of this creek bed. You see I got in front of her drive line there, I got in front of her eye. I didn't want her coming up on top of this steep grade. There we go. That's good. Being creative. Imagination. She wanted to go up on the other side there. I wasn't really ready for her to go up on the other side. I think the key, when you're taking a young horse out here, the key is knowing how to do it step by step and not getting them in deep water where they can't swim. You know, it's really important to, and that's literally speaking as well, it's really important to understand how to be able to work with baby steps to build their confidence. And you can't just jump from one step to the other. Even though they're doing well, you know, you put a great challenge in front of them, you're gonna end up ruining a lot of confidence. So you've got to build on this each step of the way. As you build their confidence and get better with the techniques, she gets better. Then you can go ahead and ask for more challenging exercises. But right now, she's got to go through all the grade school. Again, I didn't want her to get up on that side. That's a good look right there. She's standing there, she's looking at me. She's trying to be patient. I would like to be able to have just as much control at the end of this lead rope as I do up on the top of it. Learning how to use this halter and lead is just like using a set of bridle reins. You know, there's techniques, there's feel and timing, and there's a lot of things that you can do and to generate energy through to that horse and communication through that horse through this lead line. Okay, we've got a little pond right here. She hasn't been really through water, but I've got her prepared just for the work I just previously did around the trees, up and down the gullies. I feel like that going into this water is going to be a very easy transition for her. Now, if you run into problems, don't go forward. Go back and rebuild your softness through your body and get her off of your direction hand and get those hips soft and that rib cage soft and get her to where she respects the direction hand, where when you put up that direction hand, she is following that direction hand and she's putting her nose in that direction. Don't get yourself into a situation where you've asked your horse too much in a position where they're not prepared for it, because a foundation is all about building steps, building blocks, from going from one step and one block to the next. It should be a fairly easy transition for her from going up and down the gully into getting prepared to go into the water. Let's see how she does. Okay, I want to soften her up just a little bit, so I'll actually direct her away from the water and then direct her back. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask her, just like if I'm loading in a trailer, I'm going to ask her to come forward. There's some hesitation right there. Now, I'm going to be okay with that. I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, you know what, that's not too bad. As long as you give me some kind of direction, make some kind of effort. Sometimes it might be the mud more than it is the water itself. There we go. I want to keep her head straight. I'd like to be able to use this lead rope just as like as I would a fishing line or a guide, that if she gets too far out to one side, I've got her in a position. You see she's backing up right here. This is perfect. She gets to backing up. I'm going to drive her around here. Always get those feet to move. Now I'd like for her to come forward. And this may be as far as she gets right now. And I want to build on it, keeping her head straight. I'm letting her know, hey, it's all right if you're going to go ahead and panic and run outside. Here she wants to lean on me. See how she's wanting to lean that shoulder, this point of the shoulder is wanting to lean on me here a little bit. So I'm going to I'm gonna drive her. She wants to back up again. I'm gonna let it slide through my hand. She wants to back up. I'm gonna drive her to the side. There, drive her to the side. See, unlock that. Unlock that. Just like we did around the trees, I'm gonna go back to doing just like we did around the trees. Get that body soft from both sides. Don't let her get stuck in one place. See, she's wanting to go around there, wanting to pull this lead rope out of my hand. I give her an opportunity there to look at the water. This mud's offering a little bit more of a challenge to her than the water. See, she's sniffing it right there. Once her mind goes off of me, then I'm going to go ahead and put her back to work. I'd like for her mind to be thinking about the task at hand, not about trying to get away or about being silly. She's wanting to go backwards, so I'm going to go with her. What a lot of people get into right there is when that horse starts going backwards, they get to fighting on them and pulling on them. When they go backwards, you go with them until you get them laterally moved. They move to the side. There she relaxes her lips, licks her lips. Okay, now I feel like here's an opportunity right now for her to progress, to go forward. I feel like she's ready to go, make one step forward. There we go, good. There's a change. It's a little boggy. That was good. That was a good change for her. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drive her back this way now. We drove her from my right. I'm going to drive her from my left. Give her a chance to look. She has a tendency of wanting to take this lead rope out of my hand and turn the other way and get the angle on me. Horses are very, very good at angles. That's why the human needs to work on your angles and your timing. Horses are great at it. So as I come along here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drive her back around. I let this lead rope slide out of my hand. She wants to stand in there for a little while, that's great too. There, that's a good change. Now it's becoming a little bit more intriguing to her, see? That's a good change. Let her stand there and just relax and soak in that water. So probably in this situation, it wasn't just the water, it was the mud and everything else that she wasn't really familiar with. Always working on softening that body. I never quit, even when she gets out of that pond. I always work on getting that body soft. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to step her up just a little bit more and just expect her to go in there. Work it just like I did the tree. So now that we've taught her that direct and drive means that wherever I point my direction hand, that she needs to make an effort to go. So I'm going to keep walking around here until she stands still in the middle of that pond. I'll let her go out. I won't stop her from coming out. So I let her come out here and I'll change it up, change directions, let her go back in there. There we go. It's a little boggy there for her, but she's handling it well. So, building that confidence, working on that foundation of that horse. And what we done from step one is we taught this horse how to be able to move its body, move its rib cage, move its shoulders, move its hind end. Wherever I put her and I direct that hand that she's going to go. Can I stop her there in the middle of that pond? Can I change directions in the middle of that pond? All of these things, no matter what I'm doing with my horse, I'd like to have control whether I'm in that pond or I'm at the side of a gully or I'm just out in an arena somewhere. I want to have that control where that horse trusts me, and no matter where I'm at in the situation, I might be at a horse show, I might be on a ranch, I might be at a trail ride, that horse looks at me for support. And as you can see, when I put up that direction hand, she's going to go. Your body language, everything that we talk about right here, your pre-signaling that you do, all makes a big difference to this horse. This is how we communicate to our horses. This is how we speak to our horses. It's through our body language and our expression. I know that if you put the time and the effort into this, that it will work. The techniques do work. It's up to you to be consistent about sending the message to your horse. And always, always remember, when you run into problems, be consistent about it and go back to building those steps and to helping it build up to the point to where you're at. It's going to happen. Your horse is going to reverse once in a while. He's going to get worse at times. That's just part of the animal that you're working with. He's just testing you. What you've got to do is don't get upset. You just got to get even. Be consistent about it and rebuild it and bring it right back up, and that horse will bounce right back. So thanks so much for watching the DVD. You know, I hope all your dreams come true with your horses, and may God bless you and your family.